guys can fire away. Get away from me. I guess since you were past the halfway point of non-conference play, what's your evaluation?
We're 6-0.
Beyond maybe
That's good.
6 months.
Yeah, you're always the record always is the record, and we always have to continue to look at how we're going to improve and get better. And I thought we got tested those couple matches, some on good plays by them, some on faults on our end that we have to continue to clean up. But overall, really good. We pulled out some matches we weren't pulling out the last couple of years, and it's good to have in those environments, especially too. The Iowa State match, it was a rowdy environment, and then the match against Wake Forest, it's a little bit more of there's 40 people in the stands. You got to bring your own energy environment, and I thought we were able to do it in both capacities. So it's good that we came out 6-0 in the last couple of weeks here, and we got 2 tough opponents this week, and we got to continue to improve.
What's the difference maybe in winning some of these matches that you didn't get in the last couple of years?
I think we've got some positional stuff that's working really well. We've got some connections that are working well. We have more depth. We have more people that can kill balls in different positions, and that's a good thing. We're not relying on Reyna for every single swing, and we talked about that a lot. And just in terms of it's not just getting kills; it's being efficient while we're doing so. And so one of the things I'm fairly pleased about is our attack efficiency and running an offense that's just well distributed and not just relying on one person. It makes it tough to set up defensively. It's easy to spot Reyna wherever she goes, so we got to make sure we keep the distribution spread out pretty evenly and continue to score points when we can.
You mentioned a couple tough opponents this weekend. Dayton's ranked, Western Kentucky is just outside the top 25. Just big picture, like how much can these 2 matches maybe dictate?
Yeah, of course. It's always a big deal when you play teams that are ranked and teams that are quote unquote ahead of you. It's stuff that we got to get ready for too. Just coming into conference play, conference as a whole is doing a really nice job in pre-conference play, and we're doing our job as well. But we got to continue to take it one match at a time and pick up wins whenever we can. And both quality opponents this weekend, both perennial, last decade perennial tournament teams that are hovering in that top 25 range. So this is definitely a good test for us.
How much of a litmus test is Iowa State and Wake Forest, given that both of these teams finished above the New York Bay last season?
Yeah, I think they're both very quality teams, right? And we aim to do that when we set up our schedule and making sure that we're tested along the way. And both teams are good. They're going to be good in their respective conferences, and we have to be able to test ourselves. So we don't learn much if we're just going to go out there and roll teams, 25-8 along the way. It's got to be stuff that's going to make us grow, and we figure out our weak points too, right? And if we can figure those things out and still come out with wins, that's a good thing. That's what happened this last week.
I know it's early, but why do you think it is that this team has been better away from home so far?
Oh, I just think it's a good group. We talked a lot about team cohesion and team culture, especially bringing in all the newcomers between the freshmen and the transfers, and it was a big emphasis of ours over the summer, and making sure that we hit the ground running, and we didn't take time into kind of just figuring stuff out. As we stepped into day one, I would say of anything, this team was ready day one, and I think I was saying beforehand, or maybe in the first interview, that a lot of times we really need those 3 weeks. I felt within a week that we were ready to go and go from there. So we're just seeing better play off the get, and we're seeing lots of players step up to the plate when it's their turn to step up to the plate.
What are the things that you typically maybe hope to see before you get to conference play, and have you seen those things even maybe earlier this year?
Yeah, I think we're always dangerous from the service line. We've proven that we've had several servers kind of go off for big runs. And we got to continue to work on keeping those teams on big runs, or big runs going our way, right? And so I like to see us limit some errors in some capacities, but I'm fairly happy about kind of how we're making some of these teams play, and when our hitters are making really good choices, and our servers are making some really good service runs. So continue to work on everything. As always, serving pass game is always going to be huge. We've got to shore up our passing a little bit. Our defense can still be a little bit better. We can always make better choices, setting, attacking, everything else. So it's always a holistic approach, and just try to get 1 week better.
What was the recruiting process like for Illini and Ashley? Did you know of one C1 before the other, or did you see them both at the same time? It's like those two can.
Yeah, they're both on the same club team,
Yeah.
so pretty easy to see. Their whole club team's pretty good, and if you look at their whole club team roster, they're all playing D1 somewhere. And so we know that we're always going to look for talent, and it wasn't like a full package deal. They were both recruited at separate times, obviously different positions, and and so it's just one of those things that kind of worked out, and it's great to have them both, and it's great. And I think they have familiarity with each other too. I don't think I know that, so I think that helps in some of the getting the ground running here as well. So it's worked out really well.
And just, what was it? Do you remember the first time you saw them both play? What were your impressions then, and kind of what led to you feeling like that those were two?
Yeah, they were good, and they both came to camp that a couple summers, or I guess 3 summers ago now, and they impressed us a lot when they came to camp, just in how they operated and how they, you know, it's not just what you can do on the court, it's how you can take direction and implement what we're asking to do. And you know, we get a glimpse of that when they come to camp, and we get a glimpse of that when we go to their practices. And so spent several days in their gym, you know, talking with their coaches and everything else, and it just there's like, yeah, these two are going to get it, you know, just as much as anyone, and just kind of over the years they've proven that, and they've proven that here so far.
When did you, like when you got into this gym, did you feel like this could be two starters from day one?
Yeah, it's like I said, I think, you know, the camp stuff, it really helps, and you know, they came back every year too to be a part of our camps and everything as well. And then you know, you got to see them. They both, like I said, played for the same club team. They played all the way through their 18th year, so we got to see them against high-level competition when they played their club ball too. And they were playing against some of the best recruits. And you know, Laney was an Armor All-American that was able to play in a big game like that. And so we knew that they could play at a high level. And you know, how does their game translate directly to college? Tough to say till they actually get here, but once they got here, we kind of got word that they were playing pretty good in the open gyms, and then they played really well in the first few weeks of practice.
You know, you talk about more depth, having more attacking options, or spreading that well. But when you have Raina Terry, you know, having a Big Ten Player of the Week performance back-to-back nights, how easy does that make your job?
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier. I mean, we know she can do it, right? And it's not one of those things that we're going to just be, okay, we're just going to set Rainey 60 balls all the time. But, you know, we flipped her position a little bit, so she's our out assistant hitter a little bit more. Last year, we're using a lot more out of the back row. Doesn't mean we can't anymore. It just means, you know, we're just using her in a different capacity. So we're still going to rely on her heavily for sure. But, you know, if you have other people that can make you pay at other spots, then you can't just key up on her and set your defense up for one person. You got to worry about everyone that's coming at you.
How confident do you feel like the